Hey everyone, it's me, it's Pedro, I'm back. Haven't recorded a video in 8 days since I did the Make Your Own, what do they call it? Film festival, which I tagged a couple of people in. Nerdy Geezers just put his up, which was really good. And I haven't seen if Everything Home Theatre has put anything up yet, but hopefully it will be coming soon. Anyway, I was struggling to think of ideas to do for a video. So I thought about past videos that I did and whether or not I could do more sequels or more like that. And I remember doing the 80s movies that slapped videos. And I enjoyed doing that. Obviously, at the moment, I'm limited by what I've got out. But I've selected 5 movies that I think are cool and massively underrated 80s films, or not seen by as many people as they should be, apart from one of them, which is massively popular. So I'm going to kick off with the massively popular one. So these are 5 movies, 5 80s movies that slap. Or 5 underrated, except the first one, 80s movies that slap. And the first one is Dirty Dancing. Patrick Swayze, Jennifer Grey. This is every 80s mum's favourite movie. It was my mum's favourite movie when we were kids. She used to put it on when she did the ironing when we were very, very small. And it's got such a good soundtrack to it as well. I mean, people will look at Dirty Dancing and be like, "Oh, it's a chick flick." Yeah, it is a chick flick, but there's something about Dirty Dancing that kind of puts it above being a chick flick, if you know what I mean. I don't know if it's to do with the incredible soundtrack on this movie or Patrick Swayze's great performance as Johnny. Jennifer Grey is okay as Baby. I mean, she was never a great actress anyway, but she's okay as Baby in this. But yeah, this film, I've basically been force-fed this film since I was a kid, and it's ingrained in my brain. And it's a film that I love to this day, even though, again, like we say, it's a bit of a chick flick. It was directed by Emil Ardolino, who I think he passed away a couple of years ago. Who wrote it? I can't remember who wrote it. My eyesight's so bad, I have to take my glasses off for a sec. So it was written by Eleanor Bergstein. She did a pretty good job with the screenplay. But incredible soundtrack as well. Everything from Eric Carmen, Hungry Eyes, the song Hungry Eyes by Eric Carmen, Cry to Me by Solomon Burke, These Arms of Mine by Otis Redding. I think that was that. I get confused. Is These Arms of Mine by Otis Redding, is it in Roadhouse or is it in this? I can't remember. Do you like my purple light, by the way? Ooh, spooky. It's the colour out of space. We can change it. Make it red. There we go, make it a bit green. There we go. So yeah, Dirty Dancing, I think, is a massively underrated... Not underrated, what am I talking about? It's just a great 80s movie, and kind of encapsulates the whole 80s sort of movie thing, even though it's set in the 1960s. I think it's 1969 or 1963. The summer of 1963, Johnny teaches Baby how to dance, and more importantly, how to love. So there was 2 films when I was a kid that would specifically chicky flicks, like romance movies, which would be Dirty Dancing and Grease 2. Grease 2, I fucking love. But they're films that I can watch over and over and over and over and not get bored by them, because they were films that we watched a lot when we were kids. And I know Dirty Dancing ain't exactly a kid's film. I remember it being a 15, it is now a 12. So yeah, Dirty Dancing. Then we have one missing, which I think I may have put back. 2 secs. I shall return. You can actually watch me go and find it. Where did it go? Where did it go? There we go. So these two movies kind of go hand in hand, because they are sort of, they follow the same subject matter, and one of them is a response to the other one from 1983. So the first one is The Day After, which is a 2-hour, 127 minute, I think it was either a TV movie or it was a 2-part show set across 2 nights when it was aired in 1983. This is about a nuclear attack on the United States, and it has a cast that includes Jason Robards, Jo Beth Williams, Steve Guttenberg, John Lithgow, and I think Bernie Casey is also in this. John Callum, Amy Madigan, Laurie Lethin, Bibi Besh, William Allen Young, Jeff East, Stephen First, Calvin Young, Arliss Howard, Dennis Lipscomb. It's got a pretty epic cast in this. But this was written and directed by Nicholas Meyer, who would go on and do the best of the Star Trek movies. So he did Wrath of Khan. I think he did Search for Spock as a writer. And he did Undiscovered Country as well. We all know that the best Star Trek movie is Voyage Home, which was Leonard Nimoy. But this is it's a good film. It's a very good film. It's the original TV version, and as I don't speak German, Ungekürzt Kinofassung. So you see that at the bottom. If anyone who speaks German can translate that for me, that would be great. This is the German Blu-ray of The Day After. This was quite harrowing when it was released in the States back in '83. I think it kind of scared the shit out of a lot of Americans of what could possibly happen if there was a nuclear strike on American soil. I mean, there was another film as well, which was called Testament, which came out around the same time again, which was another TV movie, but it was deemed good enough to put onto theatre screens, and that was written and directed by a woman called Lynn Littman, and it starred oh shit, I can't remember her name now, but she got nominated for an Oscar for it, but I can't remember. Let me consult the IMDb's. There will be a there will be a desk coming soon, because I'm currently still using the pop-up table and my chest of drawers as a sort of desk. So let's go to IMDb. Go to IMDb. I don't know how many times am I going to say IMDb. Right, Testament. Oh, Jane Alexander, there we go. It was Jane Alexander from 1983. Starred Jane Alexander and William Devane. I do actually own that on DVD. It is either in one of the boxes or it's underneath the TV stand down there on an old coffee table, which it was. It was a coffee table. But they're films that kind of take in the same sort of plot of a nuclear strike on American soil. So The Day After came out in 1983, and the UK's reply is probably one of the single most harrowing movies ever committed to screen. It is Threads. Threads is is bleak. It's probably one of the grimmest movies you will ever watch, because while this can at times feel quite grim, this is very Hollywood. Very Hollywood. This is shot like a sort of docudrama sort of thing, I guess. Let me have a drink. Pepsi break. This is shot like a docudrama. Like the first half, it shows people in Sheffield. I think it's Sheffield. Is it Sheffield? Yeah, Sheffield. It shows the residents of Sheffield going about their daily business, and just like working class families in a steel mill town. Directed by Mick Jackson, who did The Bodyguard, believe it or not, the Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston movie, and written by Barry Hines, who wrote Kes, the old, I think it's, who is it, Alan Parker? Who directed Kes? Again, I gotta go to IMDb because it might even be Ken Loach. Who directed Kes? It's got Brian Glover in it though. Yeah, Ken Loach. Ken Loach directed Kes, but this was first broadcast on the BBC on September the 23rd, 1984, on BBC Two at 9:30 p.m. This film is about, it says 285 minutes, but it's not. It's the widescreen version and the BBC CRI print. So it has two cuts of the film on it, but so the first half is a look at the people of Sheffield as they go about their business, but also cut in between government officials trying to work out a strategy for survival of a possible incoming nuclear strike. And when the strike does happen, the second half of the film shows the aftermath and the sort of implications on human life after such an attack would take place. It's brutal. It is very grim. Whereas, like I said, the day after is very Hollywood, even though it does tackle the same sort of issue. It's all like white picket fences and stuff like that. This is just horrible. It's horrible. BBC recently reshowed this, I think on BBC 4 or maybe on iPlayer, for the first time in, I think it was like 25 years or 20 years. And there's a lot of people sort of talking about this now, which is really, really good, because considering the world is constantly on the verge of a possible nuclear war, especially with Russia and the Ukraine, and then obviously North Korea and what's going on between Israel, Iran and the Gaza Strip, which I'm not going to get into because this is a non-political channel. The Threads is kind of more sort of important now as much as it was maybe back in 1984. But Threads and The Day After are incredibly brutal movies. Well, yes, maybe not so much. So then, following on the sort of trend of sort of dystopians, I guess, because The Day After and Threads both sort of end in a sort of dystopian future. Class of 1984 is a great movie directed by Mark Lester and written by, who wrote it? Screenplay by Mark Lester and John Saxton, and Tom Holland, the director of Fright Night and Child's Play. This film's very, very cool. It is set, if you can hear that, that's a train. This film is set in a sort of dystopic future where what they call them, sort of the youth have kind of gone feral, and it's sort of, if you look at something like Battle Royale, where they look at the youth as how they've turned on humans and stuff. This is very much along the same lines as that. whereas like the youth of America have basically become unruly and wild and do whatever they want and sort of turned against authority and stuff. I'll tell you what, I'll read the back for you. An idealistic and naive music teacher, played by Perry King from Slaughterhouse-5, moves to the inner city with his pregnant wife to find that his new school is plagued by drugs and violence. Determined to bring a semblance of order to his classroom, he soon clashes with the school's dominant gang, setting off a chain of escalating events with potentially fatal consequences. Great movie, really good movie. Good cast in this as well. It's got, like I said, it's got Perry King from Slaughterhouse-5, which is based on a Robert Heinlein novel. You've got Timothy Van Patten from White Shadow, who's also now a quite well-respected TV director. Lisa Langollis from Deadly Eyes. Stefan Arngrim from Fear No Evil. A very early appearance by future Marty McFly, Michael J. Fox in this movie, and also Roddy McDowall from it's got Roddy McDowall, Battle Beyond the Planet of the Apes, or Battle for the Planet of the Apes. Why put Battle for the Planet of the Apes? Why not put Planet of the Apes instead of Battle for Planet of the Apes? The last Planet of the Apes film, that was not great, but yeah, let's say he's from the Battle of the Planet of the Apes, Escape from Planet of the Apes, they could have done Conquest from Planet of the Apes, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, or Planet of the Apes, but no, Battle for Planet of the Apes. Just a really cool film. Opens up with a Alice Cooper song as well, which is very, very cool. Called We Are the Children, I think it is. It's good song. But this is such a good movie. I saw this for the first time a couple of years back when I bought a really cheap DVD of it from Choices Video, where it was on one of the like budget labels. It was called Mosaic Pictures, I think it is. I think I still have the DVD actually. But this is the 101 Films Black Label standard release. It's not the one with the slippy dip on it. But if you've not seen Class of 1984, I highly recommend checking it out. There are two sequels. I think it's Class of 1999 and a Class of 1999 Part 2. Class of 1999 is okay. I don't think I've ever seen Part 2, but I think Stacey Keach is in Class of 1999, and Malcolm McDowell, another McDowell, not a Roddy McDowell. But very cool movie. Definitely worth checking out. Definitely worth your time. Then we have another dystopian movie, this time from Australia. This is sort of a punkish movie. You could really put it alongside something like Repo Man and an Australian film called Running on Empty as well, which is about car racing, and even BMX Bandits. You probably could, even though BMX Bandits isn't dystopian. But it's Dead End Driving from director Brian Trenchard Smith. This film's very, very good. Kind of follows in the wake of Mad Max, I guess. This is from 1988. From Lakeshore International. Again, it's sort of like a dystopian future Australia, I guess, where the kids have gone rampant and they're tearing up the highways in modified cars and stuff, and the police are sort of like helpless to really do anything because they just can't. And there are these they're like truck drivers, recovery men who fight over car crashes and who gets to claim the car crash, the money for like turning in a crashed car and stuff. And this is about a younger brother of one of these tow truck guys who goes on a date to a movie theater with I guess this girl he's seeing, and they find themselves locked into the movie theater, this open air drive-in theater, and it's him, his girlfriend, and many, 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 many other young sort of youth youths, and he needs to find a way to get out because he's not like the rest of these sort of like punk rebellious kids. It's very, very good. It's very good. It's definitely worth your time. This is the Arrow release on Blu-ray. It has pretty cool sort of artwork, even if it is a bit all over the place. I mean, it looks watercolory, but like they could have used better artwork on the inside. I do not like that artwork, which is why I'm using the new artwork. I would have liked to have seen like the poster art. But this and Turkey Shoot and The Man from Hong Kong, BMX Bandits, and I think there's another film as well, are essentially the best films that Brian Trenchard Smith has done. He's a massively knowledgeable filmmaker, but as a filmmaker, he's sort of the Australian Roger Corman in a way, if you know what I mean. But yeah, Dead End Driving. Awesome movie, definitely worth your time. Definitely, if you can find it, if you can find a cheap copy of this, I bought this in CX for £8. If you can pick this up, get it because you'll really enjoy it. Very cool movie. And finally, we have a film which I like. This is an 80s sci-fi movie that always seems to get passed over for in favor of like other stuff. And no one really ever talks about this. I mean, it came out in, was it 1980? It came out in 1985, the same year as Back to the Future, same year as Commando. So like all these big movies. So it kind of, I guess it kind of got lost in the release schedule, if you know what I mean. Or like considering all these big movies that came out in 1985. Back to the Future being the big one. This is a science fiction film from a German filmmaker called William Peterson. Not William Peterson, what am I talking about? Wolfgang Peterson. William Peterson is from CSI. Wolfgang Peterson, who also, the year prior to this, directed The Never-Ending Story and would go on to be a well-known Hollywood filmmaker with things like In the Line of Fire and the remake of The Poseidon Adventure and other movies as well. Passed away a couple of years ago. I think it might have been last year, actually. He directed Troy. He directed Troy with Brad Pitt. This film is it's called Enemy Mine, and it stars Dennis Quaid and Lou Gossett Jr., and it's a fantastic movie. It's set in a future where there are two warring. There's essentially an interstellar space war between humans and an alien species. I think they're called the Grig. I can't remember now. I can't remember. It's been a while since I saw. I say it's not actually been a while. I watched this not so long ago. But Dennis Quaid plays the human space fighter pilot, I guess. And he gets shot down over a planet, and another one of the alien people gets shot down at the same time, and they crash land on planet, and they find that there's no way of escape, and if they want to survive, they have to put aside their differences and work together, one human to alien species. And the alien is played by Lou Gossett Jr. under a completely huge amount of special makeup, and it's a really, really nice film as well. It's a science fiction film about putting aside your prejudices and discovering that who you may think is in front of you isn't actually what they are portrayed as by other people. It's a really, really interesting film. Dennis Quaid's fantastic in it. Lou Gossett Jr. is incredible in this film, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful movie that I think not many people really talk about when it comes to like 80s sci-fi. Enemy Mine is always passed over in favour of things like The Last Starfighter and like the Star Wars movies, the Star Trek films, even something like Saturn 3 or what else is there? There's a lot of sci-fi movies in the 80s, but yeah, Enemy Mine is a very, very, very good film, and I highly recommend checking out. A hugely underrated gem of a science fiction film from Wolfgang Petersen. This is the Eureka release. It does have a reversible sleeve. I have decided to use the original poster artwork, but the other side is just your generic lame Photoshop crap. So I have flipped it to use the original artwork. I'll show you, there's a booklet in here as well. So that's the booklet. And this is the makeup on Lou Gossett Jr. The makeup on this in this film is incredible. There's really decent booklet as well. So there's Dennis Quaid there. Dennis Quaid's 70-something. It's mental. I remember watching him in like Inner Space and stuff. So there we go. I know I went with sort of like a dystopian theme with this this look at movies, not including obviously Dirty Dancing as well. But yeah, this was something I wanted to do because I couldn't think of anything else to do. So I hope you all enjoyed watching my more 80s movies that slap video. Part 3, I think this is. And yeah, big thumbs up to everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting on the videos and everything. Sorry it's been such a while. I've been unbelievably swamped with work. It's like I'm getting home gone midnight and I just can't do it, and I had to sort out the house, well, sort out the flat today because obviously I've been in work, my brother's been in work as well, so we weren't able to sort the kitchen out. So I was off today and decided to go full hog and sort that out. So thank you everyone for just being cool as shit, and as usual I'm gonna give you a salute and throw up the peace sign, and I'm gonna tell you I'm out. Cheers. Thanks everyone.